Hello girls and boys, ladies and gentlemen, pipe smokers, pipe lovers, welcome to this channel. I'm Daniel Mustran, I'm pipe maker from Croatia. Hope all of you are well, happy, having a good pipe in your mouth with some good stuff in it, and that you are enjoying. Today I stumbled upon a documentary about bog bodies that were found from Iron Age in bogs, marshes from Europe. And there was a reference to a body found in, I think, in Denmark, called Tollen man. And funny enough, I wanted to record a small video related Morta or bog oak, and it was like, okay, it is definitely time to do some recording related to that topic. Interesting video, and it actually, they showed the Tollen man, and when they were making scans of that body, they actually cut the head, from what I have seen, and it is fossilized completely. So it's exactly the same process as what's happening with Morta, with oak, So during history, Morta, and specifically I'm talking about bog oak, not yew, not pines that are fossilized, but oak. People gave magical properties to that wood. And when you think some of the pieces are like a couple of thousand years old, you have to think and remember some of those pieces are dating even before Egyptian pharaohs, or maybe into early dynasties, which is completely insane, How much and what energies they have passing through them, and not just organic material, but just being there and resisting rotting and stuff. You gotta be thinking, geez, that's insane, That always makes me similar to fossilized mammoth bones or tusks or teeth or whatever that they recently, pipe makers, start using in their designs. It's also pretty much the same thing, It's really stunning, and you gotta appreciate, because it's so old and it still resists, and it can still be utilized in a way, in something like a pipe that actually is not just an object, but something that help us in so many ways to achieve peace of mind or whatever, So that's great. Anyway, there were some written chronicles from a guy called Kevin Russ, I think, that was reporting about those magical properties and how people valued that stuff and so on. So yeah, I have read somewhere that Louis XIV had his bed or bedroom, not sure, covered in Morta, and also some Tudor family members were also valued, and there were some reports that people also put objects made from Morta into their homes. So I'm actually thinking to use some of that Morta that I have, that is pretty much in a raw state, that I'm not kind of crazy to use for pipes, to use for objects, and maybe create a couple of pieces that I will have in my home, or maybe just, you know, give away or sell or something. That's something that I'm thinking about. Anyway, what is Morta? To cut the story short, Morta is, and we are talking about oak Morta. It forms when a tree that is growing close to a river gets pushed into the river because you know, rivers are constantly changing their path, and sometimes they remove some of their banks, and then they also remove trees that are close to the bank and they fall down into the river. So when some of those trees got stuck into the bottom of the river, with time it gets covered with mud, gravel and everything else. And because of that environment, that it doesn't contain oxygen, and because of the organic material and moisture and everything that is passing through, like a, let's say it's not a clear water, it's water saturated with minerals and everything else. It's like a tea, and it slowly soaks the wood and slowly brings that mineral inside the wood and removes tannins and everything else. And tannins at the beginning of the process prevents the wood from rotting, and later, because of it contains so much minerals inside the wood, it preserves it and basically fossilized the wood. So sometimes Morta can contain up to 12% of minerals in the material, which is crazy. Most of that material is basically iron. So usually Morta, if in good shape, is even harder than oak from where it originated. So people that say that Morta is soft are completely wrong if we are talking about oak Morta. Maybe pine Morta or I don't know, maybe those are softer materials, but for pipe making we are using bog oak. So Morta made from oaks, and that's insane hard, especially if it's a little bit younger. When it's formed into Morta and it didn't start to decay. So what we are trying to differentiate is Morta regarding material, regarding source of the wood, and also the color. So I will link here a nice picture how Morta is changing through thousands of years until it reaches black color. And black color usually is, when really black, is Morta that is started to decay and it loses some strength, or even when it starts to decay completely, you know, rotten. When it's in rotten stage, it is black completely, but you cannot use it because it's falling apart. And you can see it nicely on this picture. See, that's a Morta from Croatia. Guys were excavating this. I found it somewhere, it's not my picture. So you can see how many cracks are in there, and here on the picture you see that's falling apart, and that's black Morta. So what I like to use when making pipes is Morta that is not so dark, because I know that it still has strength. So basically I'm using brown, or they call it even bronze Morta. I will show you those pieces. So that still has strength, you know. So this is really hard stuff. That Morta is basically like you are sanding a stone or something, almost. It's insane. It ruins your tools, it ruins your sandpaper, it ruins everything. And yeah, it's a challenge. So that is probably one of the reasons why not so many pipe makers are using Morta, because it ruins your tools and fingers, and it's tiring, You need a lot of effort to do it, to make a good pipe from it, if you have a good block. So when talking about good blocks, thing is like this. When you find a piece of wood like this, I'm not sure if this one is usable because it doesn't have too big diameter, so maybe something inside can be usable, but it's, when you find big logs, that's great. When you find roots, that's even better. They say that roots are the best part of the Morta. I don't know why. Yeah, so you need to imagine this. You have a river. For example, rivers in Croatia, I'm talking about River Sava, River Drava, and so on. Those rivers are murky. You cannot see in there because you have a lot of sand and everything, organic material in that water, and you cannot see practically anything. You have to dive down there. You have to find that Morta, see if it is manageable to pull it out. You have to have specialized equipment to pull it out, because you have to work on a river bank where it is not safe to work, because it can, fall apart and your machinery can go into the river. It's not for those that have soft hearts. You need to pull that through. And when you have a log, huge, big, small, whatever, the minute you pull it out, you need to protect it from drying too fast. Because imagine, that log may be down there for 5,000 years and it just waits to crack. So even if you put the greatest care to prevent that piece from cracking, you still receive a lot of cracks, and a lot of that material goes into nothing. And that's a shame. But you cannot do nothing about it, because the material is like that. So that is really, really important. That is why it is really, really important to have a source of stable wood, because it is rare to get it. And I will show you some pieces that I have now. For example, the youngest Morta that I have, it is this piece of Morta. You can see how light in color it is. That's a piece of Morta I got from Manfred Hordig, one of my friends and pipe makers, and you can see I marked a little part where it started to crack, and I will try to use the rest for my pipe. I will not make a pipe for you with that material, so don't ask me about it. This is my block, the last one I got, and I'm working with this one. This is a Morta from Ukraine, and it is brown Morta, so I imagine it could be like 4 to maybe 6, maybe not 6, but 4 to 5,000 years old probably, and it's really stable, so I like this supplier. Hope he will have some more material. I would like to get some more. And even so, if he is a reliable supplier, sometimes I get pieces that are starting to crack like crazy. So usually when you want to make a pipe from Morta, usually if the material is bad, you just got no luck there. You cannot do nothing about it. It looks like this. When you pull a pipe out of it, it cracks. Usually it will not crack when you finish the pipe. Usually it cracks when you pull out initial shape. So when the veins and tensions and everything got loose, then it cracks. When it's done, I have never, I think, had a problem when the pipe was done. But I had numerous problems while I was making the pipe, you know, like second or third day when it was shaped, it cracks. This block, from which I have this piece, it is stable, and I will probably make a pipe from it in couple of next days. And this block, for example, it is not that stable. See? That's a huge piece. See? And you can see that this here was closer to the bark of the wood, and you can see that here it is darker because a lot more organic material went into, and minerals went into this part of the wood, and lighter color is inside, so not much was going in there. And that is why you cannot be 100% sure how old the material is. You have to carbon date it, and then you will know. And also what you can see, you see that here it has a lot more holes than here. That is precisely what I was talking about. This part is a little bit more, it got old with laying down there a little bit faster maybe than this piece. I don't know how to say it, but you can still use it, but I would not be happy to do it. I would probably use the brown part, not the black one. So when you check those pieces, you know, you can see clearly the process and, you know, the difference. And the only difference actually is age, you know. So let me show you two pipes I made today from Morta, from brown Morta. So all those two are actually orders, but they are not bought. So maybe they will turn available. So, you know, if you see them, if you like the material, just jump on it, because they will go fast. That's one of them. It has a brown Morta head, so that should be like 4, 5, 6,000 years old, I think. Has a zebra wood and acrylic stem. Okay, that's the one, and that's number two. Both pieces are made from Morta from Ukraine. So this is laminated wood, and this is ebonite from Germany, green grass green one. And yeah, that's the second one. So yeah, places where you can find Morta are rare, and there aren't too many in the world. I know that you have some places in England, you have some places in Ukraine, and also in Croatia, Serbia, that surrounding, maybe somewhere else. I don't know about other places, but as I said, I'm using Morta from Ukraine. So far I have come to a conclusion that it's the best for me, so I'm using that, and I'm always asking for the brown one just to be sure. Some of the pipe makers, I don't know which ones, but I have read that some of the pipe makers even use brown Morta, but color it, stain it black, so that they can that they have a black color, and they call it black Morta, which is not, but okay, I will not go into that. By the way, I'm smoking my workshop pipe, which is hell of a smoker, even with that hole, and I'm smoking the Swan from AGU Tobacco. So, where you can find pipe makers that are using Morta, I don't know all of them, but I know that the best source for Morta, for knowledge related Morta, from my standpoint, would be Davorin Janovic, a guy from Croatia that is working almost 100% with Morta. He actually introduced Morta to me, and a lot of other stuff, We are not too much in communication, but you can find his page on internet, and I will even link it down in the description of this video so that you can read a little bit more about it. He has a page, he is making pipes from what I know still, because he is an older guy in retirement, so I think that he is still making pipes. Anyway, you can ask him. Other pipe makers that I know are, for example, Werner Mummert, a guy from Germany, Il Duca, Trevor Talbert, Domagoj Telishman, a guy from Croatia, very good friend of mine, by the way. There is a guy in England called Chris Asquith, yeah, great guy, by the way, and so on. You know, there are some others, but not all of them are making pipes from Morta. Maybe some of them don't like the material, but it is not easy to work with material like that. So, without torturing you much longer with this topic, I will say bye-bye to you until next video. I need to smoke this one down to the bottom bit, because it is a great tobacco, even if I don't like aromatics. And I need to send some pipes. Have fun. Bye-bye.